just for other people. When we talk about forgiveness, we often think about like, oh, okay, well, who did me dirty? Who did me wrong? You know, who do I need to kind of let back into my heart or let back into my space, or, you know, kind of let go of the past. And forgiveness is powerful. It's really a powerful tool that we can use, not only to build relationships with other people, right, and to kind of let go of some of the challenges that we face in our lives. But let me just add a little caveat to that for you. Forgiveness is not just for other people. It's not just something that you can give away. Forgiveness is, in fact, something actually that you can give to yourself. It's something that you can, in fact, also receive. You can be both the giver and you can be the receiver. And I want to say that today because I know a lot of people have really been struggling with perfection and feeling like they need to do the right thing all the time, make the right, you know, decision all the time, and basically never make mistakes. And to be human is to be flawed. Hello, somebody. To be human is to be flawed. Hello, somebody. To be human is to be flawed. And so to expect that you are never going to make a mistake, like ever, like ever, is not realistic. And we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to not make mistakes, right? To always do the right thing and to just live in this little invisible bubble that's not even possible. So then when we do mess up, we just really come down hard on ourselves. You know, we talk negatively, we let the self-doubt in, we decide that everybody else in the world doesn't make mistakes and we're the only one that's done this horrible thing. And first of all, we probably conflate it. It's not as horrible as it actually sounds. And secondly, we are supposed to make mistakes. That's how you learn, right? And so I want to remind you today that the forgiveness that you have in your heart, right, that's available to you, is not just for you to give to other people. It's not just something that is external. You can, in fact, also forgive yourself. Sometimes we feel emotions like sadness or anger, and we kind of really get down on ourselves, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to handle these emotions in the most perfect way. And I'll tell you one thing about emotions. They are not perfect, right? And they don't fit in any box. You can be angry one day and angry another day and have it feel two different ways, right? And it's so important that we have ways to process our emotions, to move that energy through, because a lot of people get really kind of stuck, right? Those emotions get stuck in your body. They get stuck in your heart. They get stuck in your hands and you hit something. I mean, all types of things happen with emotions. And the truth is, everybody deals with them. And so to think that, one, you're exempt from the human experience is not possible. Secondly, to think that you have a perfect human experience is not possible. And third, to think that you're not deserving of the love and the compassion and forgiveness that you are often giving to other people, also not realistic. So I want to remind you today, as you move through your day, to be gentle. Please, I implore upon you to be gentle with yourself and to allow yourself to make mistakes and to allow yourself to forgive who? To forgive yourself, right? And to let go of some of the moments that, you know, you haven't done it the best that you could. Maybe you didn't say the right thing, or you didn't think the right thing, or you didn't do the right thing. And know that at the core of this human experience, to be human is to be flawed. And so you are in fact flawed, and we are all flawed and perfect in our imperfections, if you will. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. This is Helana here live on Daybreak, and I am sharing with you the best, the very best of health and wellness each and every single day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. right here. Shout out to everybody live streaming on WURDradio.com, as well as my local yokels, as I like to call them, here on 96.1 FM and 900 on the AM dial. And I just want you to know that every single day I have you in mind. I'm happy that you're here. As they used to say, you know, I appreciate you, I like you, I have so much love for you, and know that your presence is absolutely, absolutely necessary. And in fact, I like you just the way you are. That's not just I like you when you get better, or I like you when you do things nice for me, or I like you when you get to that top level of perfection and success. Nah, you're good. You're good just like you are, and I appreciate you for who you are and how you are today. I'm really looking forward to this interview today because I have somebody special in the building who I'm pretty sure you haven't met yet. And his name is Zane Johnson, and he is, in fact, the founder and managing attorney of Zane & Associates. And I know y'all are like, a lawyer? Huh? A lawyer? What? We're about to talk to a lawyer? Yes, we're about to talk to a lawyer. And it's going to be one of the best conversations you ever had that you didn't have to pay for. So, Zane, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for making time. I know it's early morning here for you, even in the lawyer lawyer world, so I appreciate you for coming through.
I mean, I'm not an early bird either. I tend to be a night owl, but I love. There's something about waking up early in the morning that just kind of gets you going. I tend to have a different day when I'm up this early, so I'm looking forward to what the rest of this 24 hours brings me.
I love that perspective. So let's get right into it. You, of course, are a lawyer, right? But talk to us a little bit about kind of how you stumbled upon that path, or maybe you didn't stumble on it at all, and what kind of what fuels you, what motivates you? You know, what is it that you're passionate about that led you to this career?
Yeah, well, I absolutely did kind of stumble into it. So I kind of lucked out in that way because I always kind of was told growing up, well, you should be a lawyer. You like to argue, and so when I applied to law school and went to law school, ultimately, that was kind of the mindset I had. Well, you know, I think I'll enjoy this because, you know, it's challenging, but I also really wanted to help people, and I saw the law as a way to do that. You know, I really had no idea what do lawyers actually do. And so when I got to law school, I started to, you know, explore my path a little bit more. Came across public interest law, which is doing law that's in the interest of the public. You know, so there's government lawyers who work at nonprofits, and really try to focus on making an impact for you know, those who are typically overlooked and underserved. And so you know, started off at a nonprofit, Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity, was able to move up into a role as managing attorney, and through that work and through all of the awesome people that I met there, gathered up enough confidence to really kind of go out on my own and start my own practice, which has always been a dream of mine. I think I have a very kind of entrepreneurial spirit. And so, you know, was able to kind of recognize that opportunity and took it. And so now I'm out on my own, started my own firm, M. Zane and Associates.
Hey.
And moving forward and really just trying to continue that mission and that work of really making the law accessible to people, and helping people to realize, you know, that access to justice is important, you know, whether we're talking about in the criminal context or the civil context. People don't really have access to the courts. They don't have access to justice. They don't have all the options to be able to kind of navigate all the different things that can pop up.
That's powerful. You know, we talk a lot, both here on the station and in general in our community, about justice. And especially, you know, in kind of what feels like a lot of injustices, right, occurring both globally, nationally, and even right here in the city. You know, it becomes a really challenging conversation for folks to have when we are fueled by emotions. And because injustice hurts, you know what I mean? And I like to say, you know, we say this a lot in health and wellness, like hurt people, right? And that there's like a deeper conversation to be had about how you treat other people, and then also how you're treating yourself. And I really feel, and I don't know what your stance is on this, but I really feel that when you do self-work and you become self-aware, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with other people's mistakes.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, I think part of the issue when we talk about issues around justice is that emotion, you know, and people's experience is so real to them. And until they've kind of been able to process that and really understand it, it's going to be difficult for them to see a different perspective that's totally outside their realm of understanding. And so, you know, when we look at, you know, kind of broader issues around justice, you know, it's important to understand that everyone's experience is different. And so what they're kind of seeing and the way that they're interpreting different things is going to be different than the way that you interpret that. And you know, so just trying to understand where other people are coming from when it comes to issues around justice, I think will get us a lot further when it comes to moving the needle and helping to find justice and equity for everyone.
I agree. And I want to add to that, you know, I think that having differences of opinion is actually a good thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we talk a lot about diversity, and I think diversity is not just in one lane, and having diversity of thought and diversity of experience, diversity of age, diversity of location. I mean, all of these things, they do play a role. Absolutely.
And when I was at Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity, one of the things that I would always tell the clients I was working with is, because we were providing legal services that were free to our clients. And so I think that, you know, our clients had the people we were working with had a certain, way of thinking about lawyers, and I think people in general have a certain way of thinking about lawyers. So it was just it's a totally different kind of working environment, I think, from what people are kind of used to when they're working with a lawyer in that way. But I always used to tell people, I'm getting more from you than you're really getting from me.
Wow.
The ability to kind of be able to sit down and hear people's experience, hear where they're coming from.
Right.
Although I'm giving people this legal information and knowledge that's going to help them take steps forward, what a lot of people don't realize is that the information that they're giving me just through their experience is helping me to become a better advocate. It's helping me to learn how to deal with different situations and understand, how different people are approaching me and how I can become, a better advocate for them. So I always just really appreciate that interaction with clients, with people who, have a legal question, and being able to share my knowledge, but also being able to step outside myself and try to understand where they're coming from and what they're dealing with, what emotions they're going through.
That's powerful. It really, really is. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't think many people have ever had a kind of an offline, candid conversation with a lawyer before. So one, thank you again for sharing. But also, you're talking like a normal person.
Yeah. lawyers are people too. I know it's hard to.
There's a lot of stigmas.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Especially that lawyers are not for the people.
Yeah,
and not everybody is, obviously, but.
And but I'll say that the vast majority of lawyers are.
Interesting.
I think my experience in going to law school and having been practicing for a little while, and I think most attorneys, they got into the work, they went to law school not to make money, but they actually went with a purpose. They actually went because they wanted to help people, because they want to help make a difference. They really care about what they do. They put a lot of time and effort into it to really become the best advocates that they can be in whatever lane they're kind of working in. So I think that there's a lot of stigma around, lawyers, whether it's, as ambulance chasers or I always think of the scene in Medea where she's like, lie, it's in the word, you lie, but I think, generally speaking, that kind of interaction, lawyers, I'll say, aren't always the best when it comes to kind of stepping outside that box, stepping outside that legal framework, and kind of taking a step back from
the responsibilities.
Yeah. And kind of taking a step back from where they're at as far as their legal knowledge and understanding of the system. So being able to kind of realize that, all right, take it back a step before you ever went to law school, before you ever figured out anything about how this system works, and try to kind of put yourself in the shoes of, where someone's coming from. And so a lot of what I'm trying to do in my practice is make it a lot more client and consumer centric. So a lot more centered around, the experiences that the average everyday person is having when it comes to legal issues, and then kind of just making those services more amenable and accessible to folks.
That's amazing. And I hear a word creeping below your comment here, which is empathy. And so I would love to talk more about that. We're going to take a really quick break. We are speaking with Zane Johnson, Esquire, the founder and managing attorney at M. Zane & Associates. And yes, y'all, we're talking to a lawyer this morning, and yes, it's not giving you no legal advice, so don't call and asking for none. But what you are getting opportunity to do is to hear kind of the heart of one particular, lawyer here in the city who is doing really incredible work, and hopefully that will shift your perspective on a bigger scale. This is Halana here live on Daybreak each and every single day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. right here on WURD. We'll be right back.
Word Radio invites you to empower, mingle, dance, and taste at the 3rd Annual Empowerment Summit and Holiday Party, Friday, December 13th from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. at the Cambria Hotel, 219 South Broad Street.
It's the rapping professor. Come see me and the whole family from WURD, December 13th.
Tickets are just $25 for full Word members. And for non-members, RSVP before November 22nd and take advantage of the special early bird rate of just $40. For more information or to RSVP, visit wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. And stay tuned to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
The Sweet Treat Hut is the highest-rated juice bar in Philly, located on the corner of 50th and Thompson Streets, providing delicious, healthy vegan food, juices, and smoothies. Treat yourself to a cup of happiness. Call 215-877-1471. Wincoat Wellness is changing the way the world ages by redefining home care. Wincoat Wellness makes it possible to achieve independent living through companion care. If you or someone you know has a loved one who is in need of home care services, the enrollment process is seamless. Give them a call at 215-277-5914 to begin enrollment with their dedicated team or home care associates, and before you know it, you'll be receiving care. Call now, 215-277-5914.
In Philly, children as young as 2 are being lost to gun violence. Man Up PHL is bringing brothers together to stop the shooting. So join me, Solomon Jones, and brothers from all over the city, November 18th, 6 p.m. at Community College of Philadelphia's Winnett Student Life Building, 520 North 17th Street for Man Up PHL. For more information, go to wordradio.com. Man Up PHL, it's time to stop the shooting.
Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Good morning. Early morning jam I-95 in Philadelphia. Southbound jam Cotman Avenue to past Allegheny. An earlier accident there has been clear, but early morning jam up now southbound 95 heading into Center City. Northbound, no major problems. Vine Expressway still in pretty good shape as you make your way through Center City, Philadelphia. Schuylkill westbound City out to Belmont, a bit slow eastbound. Later around the curve, still late Montgomery through Girard. The Boulevard Route 1 northbound at Bridge Street. Restrictions in the inner drive. Accident there. The reason, southbound side of Route 1, no problems into 76. 4255 in New Jersey. Some late volume there also beginning to pick up now this morning. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now back to Daybreak on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live at wordradio.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Halana here, live and in the building with you each and every single morning, Monday through Friday, from 6 to 7 a.m. right here on WURD. We are speaking today to Zane Johnson, Esquire, who is in fact the founder and managing attorney of M. Zane and Associates. And we're not just talking about lawyer stuff, y'all, all right? We're also talking about kind of the heart of a lawyer a little bit. And I think this conversation is proving to be insightful to me already, right? Because sometimes we forget that lawyers are still regular people, and that when they're not practicing law, they're going to their grandma's house and they're cooking and they have families and they travel and they do everything that we all do. And so the goal of this conversation is really to kind of remind you how deep empathy can run, and really see how that is practiced for somebody who absolutely has to hold boundaries, right, and has to hold responsibilities, and can also hold space for emotions as well. Zane, welcome back to the show.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. So before the break, I heard a word creeping out of your response. You didn't say this word, but I was feeling it. And you were talking about how many of your clients in the past, you actually have said to them, you know, I'm actually getting more from you than you're getting from me. I know I'm giving you legal advice and I know it's really valuable, but you're feeding into me too. And not only does that feel like kind of an energy exchange of sorts, but I also heard you talk a little bit about putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and kind of feeling what they're going through. And that just rings like ding, 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 empathy to me, empathy and compassion. Can you talk to me a little bit about what that means to you as a lawyer, both in your practice as well as in your personal life?
Yeah, well, as an attorney, I think it's really important to understand that when people are coming to you, they're coming to you probably on one of their worst days. So they're dealing with an issue that they have really no idea how to solve on their own. If they tried to solve it on their own, a lot of times they've made more of a mess of it than actually helping anything. And it's usually dealing with an issue that's very close to them, that's very important to them. So it might be their house or their kids or the dissolution of a relationship, or, you know, they're facing, you know, maybe losing their freedom. And so it's important to understand how vulnerable somebody is in that situation, and that part of your role as an attorney is just to help someone to feel like, all right, this situation is now managed.
Right.
You know, whether, even if it's, you know, a situation where they don't decide to hire me as an attorney, you know, moving forward to represent them, at least helping them to understand here, the options that you have moving forward, and here are the steps that you're probably going to want to take. And so it's, you know, it's kind of just being able to sit there and recognize where someone's at and how you can best be of service to them. And then, you know, I guess in my personal life that carries over to just when, you know, when I meet people, I'm always trying to figure out, what can I learn from, you know, this encounter? You know, whoever it is, whatever the situation, what can I learn about them? What can I learn about myself? And just trying to, you know, just take every step as if it's an opportunity to learn something. So
I think that is something that we all can do. Right? Is not just be like, okay, well, A plus B equals C. So if you not B, I ain't got nothing to do with you. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, and really kind of moving in that, I call it like a transactional space, right? Where it's kind of like, well, what do you have that I need? And what do I have that you need? Well, do I want to give it to you? Well, can I have what you need? All right, see you later, thanks. You know? And really building a bit more of like those compassionate relationships that are a bit more thoughtful, a little slower, a little more curious.
And it can be tough to do that, especially, you know, switching from always jumping from,
right.
I guess, different contexts. So, like, you know, in the professional world, you know, I was talking to a friend the other day about, you know, how much of yourself can you kind of just put out there, you know what I mean? Like when you're in the professional world and in a professional setting and space, like how vulnerable can you make yourself?
Right.
You know, it's hard to kind of, you know, determine those things, and you know, so it's always an opportunity to learn, and you know, you just take steps, and I really like, you know, how you started off the show talking about forgiveness, because for me that's one thing that, especially as I'm on this journey of starting my own practice, building my own firm, is, you know, understanding that there are going to be, you know, misfires and miscues. There are going to be things that I do where I'm like, I really should have went the opposite direction on that one, but you know, I learned from it, and I'm just going to move forward. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Just going to move forward. And, you know, so whether it's, you know, my professional life or personal life, you know, just trying to take those things forward.
Yes. And I love that. That's such a good reminder. You know, I've started to kind of police myself a little bit, and even beat myself up about it, because I'm like, that visual is so bad.
Yeah. It is, actually.
I feel like there's do you remember that Jim Carrey movie where he can't tell a lie?
Yes.
And
yeah.
what was it called? Liar, of course. And he goes into the bathroom after he's in like a courtroom or something, and he's just like totally like just jacking himself up in the bathroom, and he's just like, I can't stop my, you know, I get that image in my mind. I'm like, I'm not doing that to myself, you know. But sometimes we do. We emotionally, really verbally abuse ourselves, and we talk so negative, and we're just like, Halana, you just rah. And it's like me to me. And we talk a lot about how the external world is giving us, you know, a lot of unfairness and is treating us poorly, but we don't always think about the power that we have. We may not be able to control everything outside of us. In fact, most of the things outside of you, you know, are challenging. But inside of you, right, your own self-talk, you to you, your voice inside your brain, speaking to you in your tone, you actually can control that. You can actually shift the narrative on that. And so I love the reminder of like being gentle with yourself and being, you know, calming and being chill and falling back sometimes, because we would sometimes give better advice to a best friend or a family member that we love and be like, listen, don't be so hard on yourself. Let it go. It's all right. You're doing great. You're doing a good job. And then when it comes to ourselves, we're like, grumble, you know, but we don't always know how to give ourselves that kind of pat on the back. How do you lift yourself up, especially in, you know, in a professional space, or even building a business as you're doing as an entrepreneur, being a lawyer, and all the other things happening in the world, being a black man?
I mean, I think it's just trying to stay positive in your mindset, no matter what it is. I think one of the most difficult, well, I'm not really even going to say difficult. I think challenging, you know, talking about speaking positive, you know, being able to look at a challenge as something that, you know, it's an opportunity, right? So rather than say difficult, one of the most challenging things is, you know, as I'm building this practice, I'm trying to do something that's a little bit different, that looks a little bit different than what a lawyer typically does, or the way that a lawyer typically approaches doing their work. And so when I speak to a lot of attorneys about the work that I want to do, and the focus of that being making legal services and solutions more affordable to the average person, the response that I get from most lawyers is, well, how are you going to make money? And it's like, but hold on, like that part will come. But it's finding out how to, make those services more centered around the consumer and what the consumer is looking for. Think like you look at the legal industry and there's like this real gap where you have, people who make a lot of money so they can afford to call their attorney whenever, and people who don't make much money and they qualify for free legal services, and then the people in the middle who can afford something, but can they really afford to put $2,000 down for a retainer for an attorney to not know what the outcome is going to actually be and not really understand what are all my options. And so those are the people who I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to give them an option that's, kind of in the middle there, that says, all right, let's figure out what your situation is. I'm not sitting down with you to convince you that you need to hire me. I'm sitting down with you to help you get a handle on your situation and figure out what's going to be the best steps moving forward, whether that's hiring me, whether that's going the do-it-yourself route, whether that's, just trying to communicate with the other person and say, hey, look, let's figure this situation out. But, the goal at the end of the day is helping people to find resolutions to those situations. And
I think that's really special. And, we talked a little bit offline about what you're building, and, to be a bit of a trailblazer in an industry that's pretty well set. Yeah. The path is kind of clearly defined. Takes a lot of courage and takes a lot of bravery. Do you find that you have a lot of people kind of in your corner supporting you, or
absolutely?
Do you find that you sometimes feel a little bit alone when you're building this?
I don't. There are definitely times where I feel a little alone, but that's never really the case. I have a lot of people, whether it's mentors, family, and then of course my wife. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without their support. And so, and even folks when, when people don't really understand what that vision is, they're still supportive of what it is that I'm trying to do. And so the support's been awesome as far as moving forward and trying to build something that kind of changes the way that people interact with lawyers and, just makes it more accessible for folks. So, the support's been awesome,
That's amazing. That's amazing. The way that you broke down that there's either people who make so much money that they have a lawyer on retainer forever and ever, or there are people who really qualify for free legal services, that there's a big gap in the middle. I totally see that. Like, I could totally relate to that. And I think, really wanting to service that population is a really kind of power move in some ways. What is it that... what is it that you hope will happen? Like, we're at the beginning stages of your practice now, but like fast forward a little bit, right? Like, talk about your kind of bigger vision for really servicing that population, and what, for those of us who maybe don't understand how that could really change things, what do you think could be possible if that were to change?
I think that what I really, kind of the bigger picture and what I hope will eventually come of all this is that people will think about working with an attorney or a legal professional in a whole different way than people typically think about it now. And the best way for me to kind of draw an analogy would be to like a family doctor, whereas you got a cold, you go see the family doctor. You got a pain in your knee, you go see the family doctor. You got a pain in your back, a cough that won't go away, headaches, whatever the case may be, you go see your family doctor, you go to the urgent care, you figure out what the situation is, if they can give you an Advil or a Tylenol and that solves it, or if they can write a prescription, or if they need to tell you to see a specialist. That's the kind of lane that I want to be in, as far as, people feeling like, all right, I have a legal situation. I have something that I'm not quite sure if, should I file a lawsuit, or, I'm getting sued. How can I deal with this situation? And you come to M. Zane and Associates, and we help you figure that situation out. We help you figure out what's going to be the best steps for you, whether it's hiring an attorney to represent you or whatever the case may be. And really just having people, instead of saying, oh, I've got this issue that I'm dealing with, well, I'm going to try to do it on my own because a lawyer is going to cost too much money, or I'm just going to try to forget about it and hopefully it'll go away. I'm really trying to create an atmosphere where people feel like I want to go talk to my attorney, you know, where everybody kind of feels like I have an attorney, I have someone who can advocate for me and who can let me know, you know, what my options are. And that kind of came out of, you know, when I got into law school, it felt like almost immediately I had family members like, hey, you know, I got this issue going on, you know, so-and-so, you know, you know, my landlord won't come fix X, Y, and Z, you know, you think you could do anything about that? And I'm like, I haven't even passed a class yet, so you might want to, but like recognizing that if someone has an issue that's related to the law, first person they're going to is if they know someone in their family. Second place they're going is Google. And
you want to be that stop between.
Exactly. I want to be that in between where instead of just going to Google and searching for some random attorney, you say, oh, I heard of this guy Zane Johnson, or you know, I saw him at a workshop or a seminar, or you know, he was at a legal clinic and he was giving out information, and he's a guy who I know will advocate for me and has my best interests at heart. And so you know, trying to fill that space in that lane.
That's great. That's really, really great. And I got to ask you very briefly about the money. So this all sounds beautiful and wonderful because I think it really will be servicing a big, big need that many of us as consumers just didn't know existed. But we know it when we need it. You know what I mean? So how, or are you still fleshing that out? Like how that would work? Is this like a membership thing where you pay every month, or is it like a one-time, you pay like a consult fee or something, and then you know, how...
Yeah, that's a great question. It's more of a, it's not a membership thing or a kind of set monthly fee or something like that. It's just there are set fees for certain services, which that's what makes it a little bit different from the way most, more affordable, sets expectations where people know, okay, this is what I'm paying and this is what I'm getting at the end of the day. Not everything that an attorney does fits into that box or will be able to work that way. Most attorneys and in most situations, you're going to be paying an attorney on an hourly rate, right? And so
you don't know how many hours you might need, which is why it's an unknown about how much money you're going to spend.
Exactly. And so I'm trying to operate in that in-between space where, you know, there are certain things that people need done that
flat fee.
Yeah, you can make a flat fee, and you can just make it, you know, kind of easier to understand, more affordable. And then, you know, if someone needs that, okay, I need a lawyer to represent me through this process, either something that I can handle or, you know, have a referral network of attorneys where we can send that out to who, you know, have the same kind of, you know, purpose and mission-driven aspect as I do.
That's great. That's really great. You've thought of everything, Mr. Johnson.
Not everything. I'm sure there's other things on the horizon that are going to pop up, but you know, trying to be as intentional about this as possible.
Yeah, and I can definitely feel that. I am so appreciative of everything that you've shared so far today. Do you have time to stick around with us after the break?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So we'll continue our conversation with Zane Johnson, Esquire, who is the founder and managing attorney of M. Zane and Associates. But in the meantime, before we come to break, I have to remind you, November is a very, very special month because this month, if you start or renew your onWURD membership, you will get a free copy of the new Harriet Tubman book, She Came to Slay, The Life and Times of Harriet Tubman. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we featured the author, Dr. Erica Armstrong Dunbar, on our Struggle and Progress panel on November 1st at the Barnes Foundation for First Fridays. And so this is a very unique opportunity for you to support Black independent media, as well as learn about the life and times of one of our greatest leaders. So make sure that you do join in on the fun and join in on the family here at WURD. And for more information, you can just go to WURDradio.com or call 215-425-7875. This is Halana here live on Daybreak. We're going to take a very quick break, and we will be right back.
Tune in every Saturday at 6 p.m. to Recovery Talk 101 with your host, Rick Ford, talking about addiction, treatment, and recovery, right here on Word Radio.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, kind of work people more than 8 hours without overtime, kind of work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Unbound.org. It's a busy ride this morning here in Philadelphia. Looking at southbound 95, you're going to find that jam right Cotman Avenue down through Girard northbound. No issues. Schuylkill eastbound. Delays from 202 through Gladwin. Again from City in through Girard. Beginning to get busy. Westbound University through South. Again, City at the Belmont. A busy ride there. The Boulevard Route 1 southbound. No problems into the Schuylkill Expressway. 42 northbound. Busy from 544 to 295. 55 northbound Deptford in the 42. That is now a jam into Philadelphia. No problems on the area bridges. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now back to Daybreak on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live at wordradio.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Halana here live in the building with you right here on Daybreak on WURD. Today is currently Thursday, November 14th. That's right. We are almost to Friday, y'all. Outside 27 degrees here in Philadelphia and getting as high as 47 later on. Mostly cloudy with a little bit of sunshine. I am so blessed and honored to be here with you. We are always live streaming here live on Facebook, so make sure that you do check that out. And for many of us, this conversation today has been kind of eye-opening and really been an opportunity to kind of take a peek behind the curtain, if you will, if you want to think of the eyes and get to see kind of like, well, what's going on back there? And I really hope that you're finding that what's going on behind the curtain is the same thing going on in front of the curtain, you know, that there's a consistency there and a bit of an integrity to what you're learning today. And so we're talking in particular with Zane Johnson, Esquire, who is in fact the managing attorney and founder of M. Zane and Associates. So he's a lawyer, yes, and he has a small Philadelphia law firm. But I won't say small. One day it will be big, unless you want it to stay small forever.
I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, a small operation in numbers. You know, if the impact, you know, proportionate to that is big,
hey,
and that's what matters. That's
I
what
like
matters.
that. Small but mighty. I like that. I like that a lot. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So we've talked about so many cool things today. We've talked about forgiveness. We've talked about empathy. We've talked about practical stuff like how exactly you can fill the gap in the need for legal services here in the U.S. And we've also talked about the importance of empathy and kind of putting yourself in someone else's shoes so that you can really understand what they're going through, and how even if you're not a lawyer listening right now, you can also be more empathetic today, right? You can be more of a listener. You can slow down a little bit and recognize that not only is your time valuable, but also other people's time is valuable too. And so, you know, kind of in like a summation of sorts, you know, you talked a little bit about your bigger vision for creating a law firm that kind of meets the needs of our community in a different way. And one of your goals being to really kind of make it like a local feel and something accessible, something that you can regularly kind of get access to without, you know, spending your whole life savings or not, or knowing if you have to, you're going to have to. And I'm wondering, if you can, for the people who are listening who are really vibing with what you're saying, they're like, yes, oh my God, that's me. I needed a lawyer. I've needed it a whole bunch of times. There's probably been times I didn't know I needed it, that I asked my friend, what should I do? And we just brainstormed it together, and we hoped it would work out for the best, and maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But folks listening who are really vibing with what you're sharing and are really like, wow, this sounds really cool. Give some, words of encouragement, maybe even just some affirmations or some thoughts onto how they can kind of take a load off a little bit when it comes to legal services.
Yeah, and so I think regardless of whether it's you're reaching out to me or another attorney, when you encounter a situation that, you think might have a legal solution, talk with someone who actually knows. Talk with an attorney. If you know an attorney, if you didn't know one previously, just count this as you meeting one now. So you can always feel free to reach out to me, but reach out to a legal professional who's got some knowledge, who can help you at least figure out what the steps are moving forward. So many people, as I kind of alluded to earlier, when they actually, come see me, it's because now's the time where they have to have a lawyer because the options are either bad or worse. And so, the earlier you kind of try to address that and you get information that's, accurate and that you can trust, the better you'll be able to move forward with finding a solution that's actually going to work for you. So don't feel hopeless. Don't feel as if, there's not really anything you can do. So you might as well, just try to ignore the situation. Take the time to address it. You'll feel so much better that you did, honestly.
I think that's such great advice. And for the people listening who are like, well, I already know the value of a lawyer. How can I get in touch with you? I'm ready to talk about what I need. Mm-hmm. Can you share with us any contact information or, any other kind of ways that the community can support what you're building?
Absolutely. So you can always give me a call. My number is 267-475-7052. So you can give me a call, any questions. If you'd like to set up a consultation, if you're an attorney or you're, working in a different space and you feel like, wow, the services that he's talking about or the way that he's talking about, moving forward with building something that's accessible to people, that's something that, I want to collaborate with. I want to, explore more, same number, 267-475-7052. Just reach out to me. You can also email me at Johnson, JOHNSON. Did I spell my name right?
Yes, you did. It's okay. Take your time.
It's still early. It's still early. It's Johnson at mza.legal. And, shoot me an email. Give me a call. I make myself available for anything, and I'm always willing to explore and find new ways to build. So
that's powerful. Can you give us the number one more time? Because I know people have missed parts of those.
Absolutely. That's
and the email as well.
267-475-7052, and the email is Johnson, JOHNSON, at mza.legal.
MZA as in
M Zane and Associates.
Okay,
yeah.
so mza.legal.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great. This has been so incredible. I really think just a powerful kind of, behind the scenes conversation with someone who is living and breathing the legal the legal professional space, but also is normal and regular and from Philadelphia and here and just, doing work that you find meaningful. And I think we can all relate to that, these professions and these opportunities and all of our life experiences, they don't have to be things that separate us. We can actually find commonality and find common ground no matter what sector that we're in. So I appreciate you just exponentially for coming through today to share your story.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me to, be able to just speak a little bit about, my perspective and what I'm working on. And, I appreciate it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So today we spoke with M. Zane Johnson, Esquire, who is the founder and managing director of M. Zane and Associates. And we talked about legal services, y'all, but we didn't give any free legal advice. So I said that pretty clearly. But the other thing that we talked about today is empathy. And gosh, did you think we were going to talk about empathy when it came to a lawyer? I don't think that you did, but we did. And what's powerful about that is that each of us can take that story forward. We can become more kind. We can become more compassionate. In fact, we can even become more forgiving. So maybe you don't even need the legal situation to pop up. Letting go of some of the things of the past and seeing what's possible for our future starts with the present moment. And so I want to encourage you today to get up, get out, and get something to have yourself a beautiful, incredible, wonderful day. Know that I love you. I have so much love for you, and I appreciate you immensely for everything that you do and for all the support that you give both to the station here at WURD as well as to me right here on Daybreak. Remember that you can always reach out to me on Instagram at Hello Helana. That's HELLO HELANAH. And you can always text me. My number is 267-281-3890. 267-281-3890. Today's a beautiful day. It's an opportunity for you to do something that you didn't do yesterday. It's an opportunity for you to step out and be great, whatever that means. It's an opportunity for you to be honest. It's an opportunity for you to be authentic. And I encourage you to do all of those beautiful things. And one more thing I got to remind you of. All right, be easy, okay? Fall back, chill just a little bit. Don't be so uptight and hung up and strung up and stressed out because you can actually let some of the stuff go. Every little teeny little detail does not have to be perfect, and if we make mistakes, it really is okay. There isn't anything in this physical world that we can't fix, you know, and mistakes are the best way to learn. So I want to encourage you today to really live your life out loud, to be your very best. Maybe you put on a different color this morning. Put on some funky socks or a nice pop of red lip. I don't know. Some hair barrettes. Give me some curls. Give me a fancy jacket, a nice belt, a flashy tie. Come on, just step on out a little bit. I know it's getting cold, and I know everybody wants to bundle up and wear brown. But you don't have to do it. Wear some color today. And if you're watching the Facebook Live, you'll see I got my head wrap on. I'm living the dream, and I got my own color popping. So know that you can express yourself, right, through how you look, and sometimes seeing yourself look kind of nice actually makes you feel kind of nice, you know, so know that that is something powerful that you can do as well. And remember what I tell you each and every single day. No matter who or what comes your way today, may you go forth in love, may you go forth in peace, and may you go forth in joy. And know that no matter what comes your way, the love, the joy, and the peace that you seek lives inside of you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful people, and I will see you tomorrow morning.
Keystone First, VIP Choice, HMO, S&P, and you are better together. If you live in Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, and Delaware County,